So in this session we'll be looking at how to deliver an effective pitch. And in business you may find that you need to pitch your business idea to a variety of different people, such as potential clients, prospective staff, business partners, investors, suppliers, landlords or other key stakeholders. Now in general terms, the purpose of the pitch is to articulate your business idea in order to obtain some form of support, and in order to be successful there's a lot you need to consider here. So by the end of this session you should be able to firstly describe what an investor is looking for from a business pitch. You should also be able to explain what makes a good or bad business pitch. And also you should be able to develop your own plan for an effective business pitch. So what is a pitch? Well, pitching can be referred to as the physical act of presenting a conceptual idea to a stakeholder in order to obtain some form of support. In many cases the pitch itself is the means by which that support is either won or lost, and the key aspects of the pitch are as follows. A pitch generally involves a physical face-to-face presentation, and with any pitch there are usually some rules which must be followed, such as a time limit. Pitches can vary in length and complexity, but generally range from short rocket pitches of 1 to 3 minutes where you have to be extremely concise, up to much longer pitches of 15 minutes or more where there's greater scope for providing more detail around your idea. Generally there's also a specified period of time allocated for questions from the decision makers, who are sometimes referred to as the panel. By pitching you're basically bidding for some form of support, and this support may be critical to the success or failure of your business, so you need to plan your pitch and take it seriously. Since the pitch is a personal delivery, the investor will also be looking at you to determine whether or not you represent a good risk. And remember, not all pitches are successful, so risk of failure cannot be completely eliminated from the pitching process. So whether you're pitching a basic idea or a full business plan, the pitch is constructed from a set of guesses, and as with a business plan, to have any credibility at all, it's essential that the information used in the pitch is accurate, unbiased and up to date. So what should we be thinking of at the start of the pitch? Well, firstly, make sure you turn up on time. Be there 10 or 15 minutes early to allow yourself some time to relax, get organised and go over your notes. Once you're ready, indicate at the start of the pitch whether you will take questions during or afterwards, but remember, questions during your presentation can disrupt the flow of the pitch itself. At the start you should also supply any important handouts to the audience so they can be referred to during your pitch, and it's good practice to introduce yourself giving your name and your specific roles within the business. If you think it's appropriate you can shake hands with the panel, but it's not essential and it can come across as being a bit artificial and awkward at times. Take some time to set up any presentations or visual aids that you'll need, then just take a deep breath and get started. So now let's talk about timing. Again, make sure you arrive early for your pitch and don't cut it too fine here, as you'll only put yourself under pressure from the outset. Make sure you know the time limit which has been allocated for your pitch and then stick to it. Practice your delivery thoroughly, as this will help ensure that you deliver well on the day and within the prescribed time limit. And allow extra time when you're actually pitching for real, as there's always a risk that you may run over here. Keep an eye on the clock and be aware of time throughout your pitch to prevent any drama. And lastly, try to use the full time allocation for your pitch, as sometimes running under can be as bad as running over. So now let's look at the concept of the hook. The purpose of a hook in a pitch is to grab the attention of the audience and hold it, and there are numerous potential hooks you may use to engage the audience, and here are a few tried and tested examples. Firstly, you can tell a story. An interesting story can stimulate interest and set your pitch in a wider context. However, it's very important not to go off on a tangent here. The story needs to be relevant and should not take up excessive time during the pitch itself. It should enhance, not detract from the overall pitch. Next, you could have a poll or ask a question from the audience. These are designed to create some form of interaction with the listener, but they can also backfire. If the audience does not engage with you, then you can feel a bit foolish, and this can impact negatively on your confidence level for the rest of the pitch. You could also show a short video clip if it makes your business case more compelling. Alternatively, you could also use props or prototypes and adopt a show and tell approach to get the pitch off to a good start. And this can be very useful as it gives the audience something tangible that they can see and touch, which can bring your idea to life. Another good opening hook is to use attention-getting statements which can surprise the audience from the start, allowing you to command their attention for the rest of the pitch. Whichever the approach, however, you must remember that whilst the hook itself can be an important part of the pitch, you should be careful not to spend too much of your valuable pitching time solely on the hook, as it can be very easy to get carried away and overdo the hook itself. With pitching, first impressions definitely count, and you literally have seconds to make the right impression. So make sure you look smart and professional and dress appropriately. If you look good, you'll feel more confident, and this will come across in the pitch. So what do investors look for? Well, firstly, investors want to see evidence of your knowledge of the industry in the pitch. No one realistically will expect you to know everything there is to know about your business idea, but during the pitch you'll need to demonstrate knowledge of the sector or industry and an ability to get the business off the ground by using your skills, knowledge, experience and contacts. So you need to do your research here and show that you know your market and who your key competitors and customers are likely to be. Investors will also want to see a good presenter and a good overall presentation. An effective pitch needs a knowledgeable and prepared presenter, and if you're working as a group, it's important that everyone has a general overview of the whole business and not just the part that they worked on, as any questions could be directed at any presenter about any part of the pitch at any time. You also need to demonstrate a degree of passion. If your idea doesn't excite you, how can it excite the people you're pitching to, and how will you ultimately get their support? You should also give some thought as to the overall approach you'll take with your pitch. Humour, honesty and openness are all elements of an effective pitch, but it's quite easy to get it wrong, and you should also be aware that there are a number of things which are very likely to be a turn off for any investor. Firstly, speak clearly and talk through the slides as calmly as possible. If you make a small mistake, correct yourself. The people you're pitching to will understand that you'll be nervous. Think about your posture. Excessive body movements and expansive gestures can be distracting for the audience, and it can take away from the actual pitch itself. And again, nerves can often be the cause of this, so try to relax. Eye contact is also important, so make eye contact with the audience, as this shows confidence and belief in your business idea. Try not to read straight from the slides, instead discuss each one and add supplementary information as you go. Smile, be friendly, polite and enthusiastic during your pitch. If pitching as a group, ensure everybody knows in advance which person will talk about each of the slides. And keep your content tight. Cut out the waffle and get straight to the point. Don't exaggerate, and back up any claims with real research and actual facts. People tend to know when something seems too good to be true, and a pitch is not the place to make things up. Look to grab the audience attention from the outset and keep an eye on their reactions. Do they look bored? Do they look sceptical? And if so, is there anything you can do within the scope of the pitch to turn this around? Try not to worry too much if they look tired, as they may have listened to many presentations from other businesses on the same day. In order to be effective, a pitch really needs to have strong content which is communicated in an engaging manner. Weak content delivered effectively or strong content with a weak delivery will ultimately only confuse the audience. So that's the process, but what does a good pitch actually look like? Well, here's an example of an extremely effective pitch which successfully articulates the key elements of the business idea and model very well in just 3 minutes. This type of pitch is commonly referred to as a rocket pitch or elevator pitch, depending on how long or short the pitch needs to be. The key here is to be as clear and concise as possible without waffling in order to make maximum use of the available time. Now this is a particular skill, but it's a skill which you can learn and which with practice anyone can become fairly adept at, and this short video explains how you can achieve this. Remember that with any pitch you need to ensure your content is as strong as possible, and you need to practice your delivery in order to make sure you get your message across as effectively as possible. And to finish, here are a few tips for pitching from the experts. Entrepreneurial tycoon Richard Branson has the following advice on pitching. You need to explain how the new business will make a difference to customers and provide a compelling alternative to competitors. Your pitch has to be grounded in expert knowledge of the industry, and you need to demonstrate this. You must have a realistic plan and show that you're in it for the long haul in terms of the business, and you should view your pitch as the opportunity to show your audience your strongest hand, as you may never get another chance to do so. Dragon's Den's Deborah Meaden has the following advice in pitching. You need to make sure that you know your stuff. You must be clear about what drives the business. You need to get your message across clearly and concisely. And you need to allow enough time to plan your pitch and rehearse in front of someone so that you can get meaningful feedback. You should memorise key points, so if you lose your thread you can easily pick it up again. And you should use plain language, not jargon at all times. You'll need to explain your marketing plan thoroughly, as this is key. And finally, you should be honest and be yourself at all times. So that's what you need to be thinking about in terms of pitching for business, but remember, it won't ever be as bad as you think it will be. Admittedly, some people would rather forget their own experience of pitching, but if you adopt the approach outlined here, you can dramatically increase your chances of getting the result you're looking for from your pitch, even if you feel the odds are stacked against you.